8 mana, 6 generic, 1 black, 1 green for 5/5 flyer. On paper that is an unplayable card in 2026. In April it was the most built commander on the entire planet, and it did it again in May. Witherbloom, the balancer, has affinity for creatures, so every body you control shaves a mana off it, and most people are casting this 8-drop on turn 4. That is not even the broken part. The broken part is the third line of text, and it is why nearly 15,000 people have already sleeved this dragon up. Stick around for the discount, the math that makes X spells free, and a 10-card core that costs $5.64. Instant and sorcery spells you cast have affinity for creatures. Read that again, because it is not talking about the dragon, it is talking about your deck. Every creature you control takes 1 generic mana off every instant and sorcery you cast, and a cost reduction eats the generic part of an X cost the same as any other. So with 8 creatures out, a spell that costs X, black lets you set X to 8 and pay 2 black mana. Your board size is your X. So how fast did people notice? Numbers from here come from EDHdex. This dragon came out on the 24th of April 2026 in Secrets of Strixhaven. Back in March, during spoiler season, 22 people had a list up and it said 2174th. In April it went to number 1, not for the set. Number 1 commander on EDHrec, 5,400 decks in the back half of 1 month. May, still number 1. June it settled at 11th, and that is where the honest reading starts, 14,943 decks total. There are 4 ways people build it, leads with 966 decks, because tokens are creatures and creatures are the discount. Spellslinger is second at 713. Affinity 472 goes widest and cheapest. X spells is fourth at 315, which undersells it, because the other 3 are X spells decks wearing hats and the lines between them are thin. And this is not a kitchen table dragon. Of the builders who put a power bracket on their list, 80% filed it under 3 or 4 upgraded or optimized. 16 people out of 2,500 called it bracket 1. 16, take that seriously before pre-con night. The discount is the deck. So what goes on the board? Llanowar Elves sits in 81% of lists' single highest inclusion in the deck. Birds of Paradise is in 65. These are not here to ramp you toward 8 mana. They are here because a 1 mana creature is a permanent repeating discount on every spell you cast all game. Cryptolith Rite is that idea with the volume up. Every creature taps for any color, so a board of tokens is a board of extra lands. Then you stop casting creatures and start manufacturing them. Bitterblossom hands you a flyer every upkeep forever, for 1 life a turn. Sedgemoor Witch turns the deck back on itself with Magecraft, so every spell you cast makes a pest and every pest makes the next spell cheaper. 54% of lists run her. Tendershoe Dryad does the same on every upkeep including your opponents, and at 10 permanents those Saprolings get +2/+2. Springleaf Parade explains this deck in 1 frame. X green. It makes X changeling tokens when it enters, and then every creature token you control taps for 1 mana of any color. Cast it for X equals 6 off a board of 6, and you have 12 bodies, all making mana, all cutting a mana off your next spell. Ramp, tokens and a discount all in 1 card, and 36% of lists play it. That is the engine. Here is what the average list is made of. 35 lands, 65 spells, average mana value 2.98, 19 cards at 1 mana, 18 at 2. But that 1 mana column is lying to you. 6 of those 19 are X spells, and an X spell counts as 0 on every curve chart ever drawn. Across those 2 columns, 12 cards have no real cost. Their cost is however many creatures you control. Here is the split that surprised me. 35 lands, 22 creatures, 22 sorceries, 12 instants. 34 instants and sorceries in a deck whose commander wants a whiteboard. That is the tell. You are not building a creature deck. You are building a spell deck that keeps enough creatures alive to make the spells free. And it is greener than the card looks, 62 green pips against 30 black. Which makes the opening hand awkward. 35 lands gets you 3 or more lands in only 48% of opening 7s. That is under a coin flip, and it is fine because 16 cards in the 99 put a creature onto the battlefield for 2 mana or less. 72% of hands have 1. Keep the 2-lander with the elf. That is the deck working, not the deck failing. That board is not the win condition, it is the price tag on it. Exsanguinate costs 37 cents and carries the highest synergy score in the deck. Separately, 77% of lists run it. Each opponent loses X life and you gain all of it. So 10 creatures means 2 black mana for a 10-point drain across 3 players. Torment of Hailfire is the version that ends friendships. Repeat X times, each opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a permanent or discard. Nobody lets you cast that twice. There's a 2-card infinite in here and 1 piece is a common. Sprout Swarm costs 1 and a green with buyback 3. Buyback is an additional generic cost, so Affinity eats it. With 4 creatures out, Sprout Swarm plus buyback costs 1 green and Convoke lets a creature tap to pay it. You make a Saproling, the card returns to your hand, you do it again. That line shows up in 9,900 decks across EDHrec. 16x spells in the average 99. 16! By the time you have seen 13 cards, roughly turn 6, 91% of games have handed you 1, and every creature beside you is another point of X you never paid for. Here is the trap, and it is why good pilots hold mana up. Your creatures are your ramp, your discount, and your damage, all in one pile. A board wipe does not set you back a turn. It sets you back to an 8 mana commander and a hand of X spells with X equal to nothing. So Heroic Intervention is in 54% of lists and Arachnogenesis in 46. Cast Protection, not the 9th token. So a real game looks like this. Turn 1, a mana elf. Turn 2, something that makes a token every upkeep. By turn 4 you have 4 or 5 bodies, the dragon costs 3 and a 5/5 Death Touch Flyer parks in front of the table. Turn 5 the X spells switch on. Turn 6 Torment of Hailfire and you are counting other people's permanents. And then you look up what the average version costs. $726. That is the average Witherbloom the Balancer list on EDHrec, which is a strange number for a deck whose best card costs 37 cents. The money is not spread around either. 12 cards carry $442 of it, 61% of the total. The other 87 cards add up to 284. One builder in 10 skips their top 12 entirely and the cheap half is better than it has any right to be. Labrats is 61 cents with buyback 4, which Affinity turns into a free rat every turn. Pest Infestation is 55 cents, pays X twice and makes 2 pests per X, so 6 creatures buys X equals 3 and doubles your board for 1 green mana. Witherbloom Apprentice is 56 cents of Magecraft, draining the table by 1 for every spell and you cast a lot of spells. Army of the Damned is $1.49 for 13 zombies with Flashback, which is another fat generic number for Affinity to chew on. Animist Awakening is 71 cents, reveals X cards off the top and every land among them hits play for free. 10 cards in that vein cost $5.64. Now the expensive 12, and which of them earn it? Badger Mole Cub is $50.70 for a 2 mana creature and here it earns that. Whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an extra green. Put it next to Cryptolith Rite and your whole token board taps for double. Chatterfong Squirrel General is $12, sits in 58% of lists and doubles every token you make, which doubles your mana and your discount at the same time. Phyrexian Altar is $56 and it converts the token loop into a kill. Sacrifice a creature, add a mana, and with Labrats in hand that becomes an infinite drain through any Magecraft creature. Finale of Devastation is $51, an X tutor that drops a creature straight onto the battlefield, and at X of 10 or more your board gets +X in haste. Parallel Lives is $38 and doubles the tokens 1 more time. That is the average Witherbloom, the Balancer deck, exactly as EDHrec has it. 35 lands, 22 creatures, 34 instants and sorceries, 16 of them with an X in the cost. Whether you spend $5 or $700, the shape never changes. Put creatures on the board, then let the board pay for the spell that ends the game. An 8 drop that nobody in this deck ever pays 8 for. Number 1 in the world in April, number 1 again in May, 11th in June once the hype burned off and it was still good. $4 for the dragon, $564 for the 10 card core, and the $442 at the top is optional. This has been EDHdex. The numbers came from EDHrec, and there is another deck tech next week.